National Dex, National Dex, National Dex. That's most likely what you've all been hearing when it comes to these controversial Pokemon games. But we aren't here to complain or nitpick the game, for the most part. No, we're here to see how Game Freak could legitimately fix the shortcomings that Sword and Shield are currently facing. It's easy to give the obvious ways in which they could sort out these issues. Create better graphics, make better animations, bring back the National Dex. But let's see if there's a realistic chance of Game Freak actually sorting out these issues that many Pokemon fans share. Please Game Freak, if you happen to be watching this, which I'm sure they definitely are, I hope you can understand these issues and possibly take these ideas into consideration. But with all that said, this is how the issues of Pokemon Sword and Shield could realistically be fixed. The great thing about this is that it has already started to pop up. Game Freak have been handing out online surveys to select people in Japan and Europe, and I think this is a great way to get the honest thoughts and feedback fans have concerning these games. This isn't perfect though. How about instead of making it select people only, hand the survey out to the masses? At the very least, give the surveys to those with a connected Nintendo Network account. That way you're reaching your target audience being Nintendo Switch users. And another thing, don't limit this to specific territories, make it worldwide. This way, it'll be clear if there's a common distaste for a particular element in these games, and Game Freak will be able to use that knowledge throughout the rest of the development of Sword and Shield. The more people they can get, the easier the results will be to find. It's great that they've already started work on this, but pushing it just a little bit further could go a long way in ensuring how Game Freak approaches these issues. Sure, this isn't a perfect solution, but hear me out for a second. Many Nintendo Switch games do this, for better or for worse, where they require a particular download to play the full game, even if it's a physical copy of that game. If the problem with the National Dex is that there's simply not enough space on the cartridge, allow us to download that data externally. It's better than nothing, and could be made completely optional for the players that don't mind not having access to all of the Pokemon in the game. As discussed many times before, all of the Pokemon models are seemingly the same as from Pokemon X and Y, with possible slight tweaks being made. So I can't imagine it being that much work, and I really don't think that's the issue here. Adding this optional download would please most fans, and I know there would be a few that would be annoyed at having to download something extra onto their system, but would they rather have nothing? Would they rather not have access to some of their favourite Pokemon? Or are they willing to let this slide? Either way, I feel this is the best course of action, just as long as they don't make you pay for it. Then there's gonna be some problems. Another not so perfect solution. It's no secret that many developers offer post-launch patches to their games to make the experience more stable, and I don't see how Pokemon couldn't benefit from this. A common defense of these games is that Game Freak are under time constraints. Well, give them more time. After the release of these games, I doubt they'll be under a lot of pressure for at least a few months, so I see that as a perfect opportunity to iron out some of the graphical issues people are facing with these games. For me, it's mainly the textures that need work, so if they prioritize things like that, they could have this game looking sharper in no time. I think it's unrealistic for them to patch out all of the animations of the Pokemon, but choosing specific ones like Double Kick could definitely go a long way to giving this game more polish. Oh, and fixing the human NPC animations too would be nice, but I'm probably dreaming at this point. While I see a general delay as an unrealistic option for Game Freak considering they've never really done this before, a very small delay could be possible. The reason I say small is that they do need to make sure that the games are in line with the anime and trading card game, and they usually release a few months after the games have been released in the US and Europe. Allowing a 2 to 3 month delay would allow the entire development team to focus on the major issues many people are having with the game, and allow them to have the time to focus on the overall game beforehand, saving the issues until later on. They also need to make sure these games don't clash with releases like Animal Crossing New Horizons, hence why they should only be allocated a small amount of delayed time. Pokémon is a household name. I don't think it matters too much when the games release, just as long as they make people aware of it. No matter what, the games will sell, so I don't think Game Freak would have too much to worry about if they were given a small delay. I know I'd be absolutely fine with that, and so would many others. If the issues still weren't fixed after that though, then I don't think people would be too happy with that. I know I've done my fair share of complaining on these games, but I seriously do want them to turn out great. I am a Pokemon fan after all. If the issues of many Pokemon fans are addressed, I could see that helping the sales of the game by a fair margin, and at the end of the day, I'm doing this out of care for the franchise, not spite. See that as you will, but I just want to see growth in the Pokemon franchise, nothing more. And I seriously hope that Game Freak are taking a long look at the backlash of these games and are using that to further themselves.